Right now on KGW News at 6, a flagship store known for its discounts is leaving downtown Portland.
Then, as businesses flee the state,
I am here to lift up and emphasize that Oregon is open for business.
Governor Kotek, up for re-election, announces a new plan to boost Oregon's economy.
Plus, a massive revitalization effort in Portland's historic Albina neighborhood takes shape.
So what we're trying to do is rebuild it as if it were never destroyed.
And later, the big surprise for some Washington students who just learned their tuition has been paid.
This is more than money. This is so much meaning for all of our lives.
But first to breaking news, and an arrest authorities say in the case of a grandmother randomly punched, her family says, by a stranger. A warning, this video is tough to watch.
We first showed you this video yesterday of a 69-year-old getting attacked in a parking lot in southeast Portland. Police today arrested 24-year-old Santos Puerto Rios and say he also is suspected of assaulting a 21-year-old in the same area that same day. Investigators say Puerto Rios committed the attacks within 15 minutes of each other, but the second attack wasn't reported until days later. Police say both attacks appear to be unprovoked. Puerto Rios is in jail, charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree assault. We will keep you updated. Thank you for joining us here at 6. I'm Christine Pitawanit.
And I'm David Molko. Now to what appears to be another blow for downtown Portland, with the Nordstrom Rack store set to close its doors.
Evan Watson reports on the whole it will likely leave in a neighborhood some say is struggling to rebound.
The last day for this Nordstrom Rack will be January 31st. Nordstrom says the store's closure could mean that 37 employees could lose their jobs.
Oh, I'm sorry it would be closing. I don't want it to close.
A discount option for shoppers, the Nordstrom Rack store is leaving downtown Portland.
I've been shopping at Nordstrom for over 30 years. Nordstrom Rack, I'm very sad.
The company says the store's closure will be permanent, filing a layoff notice saying some of the store's 37 employees may be able to transfer to another Nordstrom location. Tim Mitchell runs a commercial real estate firm downtown. He shopped at Nordstrom Rack Tuesday.
You know, it's never good when a tenant leaves, but if we can get, again, some other concepts that come back into downtown and take the space, things would look a lot better. We have to change the narrative down here, and I think the mayor's doing all he can, and the people in power are doing all they can, and, you know, it's just going to take some time.
Nordstrom Rack's closure is another blow to the city's core, which has struggled to return to pre-pandemic levels of foot traffic. A recent KGW investigation into retail theft included video of shoplifters outside the Rack store. Nordstrom did not give a specific reason for the store's closure.
It's a fabulous place to buy clothes that are, you know, very nice clothing, but it's less expensive.
Mayor Keith Wilson's office says it's saddened by the closure, and the mayor is working with Nordstrom to make sure its main flagship store in Pioneer Place stays as a, quote, vital anchor for downtown. Nordstrom says it's best able to serve the Portland community by focusing on its other stores in the greater Portland area. Scott Piatti will change his habits.
I will probably just do some more shopping online. But it's nice to go into I like the store experience. The people are very nice. And it's just nice to visit actual retail stores. It's kind of sad that it's going away.
Evan Watson, KGW News.
As word of Nordstrom's closure hit Portland, Governor Tina Kotek was announcing a plan to attract new businesses to the state.
Yeah, she's calling it Oregon's Prosperity Roadmap. Devin Haskins is live in Southwest Portland. Devin, it sounds like the governor has some pretty lofty goals.
Yeah, in a CNBC poll that looked at top states for businesses, Oregon ranked 39th. And some of the metrics that they were looking at in that poll looked at economy, cost of living, and business friendliness. Oregon ranking near the bottom in all 3 of those metrics. The governor calling her framework Oregon's Prosperity Roadmap, which focuses on 3 key things. She wants to grow the state's economy and GDP faster than the national average. She also wants to create more living wage jobs by expanding workforce development programs. Oregon ranks 23rd in that same poll. She also wants to attract more businesses to Oregon by reducing some of the red tape that holds them back, like permits. Kotek hopes to bring Oregon into the top 10 states for businesses. Today, surrounded by business leaders in Tualatin, she laid out her plans to do this, and talked about some of the issues holding businesses and workers from moving here, like cost of living.
I believe that a clean energy future can be more affordable. I think that what we need to be doing around affordability is getting people good paying jobs and building homes that are affordable. That's a priority for me. It'll continue to be a priority for me. We all have to get serious about that as an issue.
Republican Senator Christine Drazan, who is running for governor in next year's election, blasted the idea shortly after it was announced, saying in a statement, quote, Tina Kotek should have been the chief prosperity officer for Oregon this entire time. She has failed us. Drazan went on to say that if the governor is serious about fixing Oregon's economy, the first thing she needs to do is stop making things worse. Her weak leadership is sinking our state. During that announcement today, Governor Kotek did not give a timeline for when she hopes to achieve these goals. Back to you.
Oh, the political fireworks already starting. Devin Haskins reporting. Thanks, Devin.
And let's take a step outside for a live look from our Wells Fargo Skycam. The lights of downtown looking absolutely beautiful right now, 47 degrees in the city.
Matt's here with the first look at your forecast. So, Matt, what's on tap for tonight?
You know, we're fine tonight, David. As you guys just showed us, it's cloudy. It'll stay cloudy. If the clouds break up, it'll get foggy. No big deal. We're done with that drizzle that we had earlier in the day. But I want to talk about the mountain and snowfall in our ski season, which has yet to begin and is putting a few people, more than a few people, myself included, a little bit eager and anxious to get that going. It's 27 degrees at Timberline. Hey, there's a whole inch of new snow in the last 24 hours. That's obviously not going to do it, right? So what will do it? Well, we need a change in the overall pattern. We've had this big ridge of warm air and high pressure just off the coast, north-northwesterly flow, but we're on the warm side of it, unlike the northern Rockies in the east, which is beginning all the cold air. So we need this to break down. And as we go through time and into next week, it finally does break down, and towards late next week, if this pattern actually develops, this is what's being forecast by at least one of our models, if this actually develops and verifies, this is a great pattern for heavy snowfall in the Cascades. Cold, lots of moisture coming in from off the ocean. So that would do it. The problem is the models have teased this, then they back away, then they tease it, then they back away for like the last 4 or 5 days. So hopefully they'll latch on to what will actually happen, and hopefully it'll be that. You see 1 to 2 feet in the Oregon Cascades by late next week, even more on Mount Rainier. So again, there is hope. We're going to have to be patient, guys.
Oh, eventually. Thanks, Matt.
In your headlines, a high school student in Salem was arrested this morning after he allegedly brought a gun to school. In a letter to parents, Sprague High says the gun was found in the student's backpack during a standard weapons screening. School staff confiscated the firearm, then contacted police. The school says it's the first gun taken from a student since it implemented the detection systems.
Oregon State gave a bit of an update today on its 2 football players charged with DUII. Wide receiver Jimmy Valson III was charged November 1st. David Wells Jr. was charged late last month. Neither player made the road trip last weekend to Pullman. Here's Athletics Director Scott Barnes.
Those that had a issue with law are not currently on the team. They're not active.
Chance to come back, or
that yet to be determined.
Well, Valson's due in court December 16th, though it's unclear when Wells will appear.
The Trump administration says it will withhold SNAP food benefits in most Democratic-controlled states. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the move is due to those states refusing to hand over data the department requested back in February that it says is necessary to root out fraud in the program. That data includes things like recipient names and immigration status. 21 Democratic-led states, including Oregon and Washington, sued to block the requirement earlier this year.
And Portland Mayor Keith Wilson has picked the city's first long-term city administrator. Subject to council approval, it'll be Raymond Lee, who is the current city manager for Greeley, Colorado. That's a college town north of Denver. Council here is expected to hold its confirmation vote next Wednesday. If confirmed, it'll be a big step up for Lee. Greeley only has about 116,000 people and a city budget of $515 million. Portland's population, of course, about 6 times that. Its budget is more than $8 billion.
A $70 million investment into rebuilding the Albina neighborhood over the next few years is now in the works.
And today we learned how the massive makeover will begin to take shape. Celine Stevens with that update.
The plans for the historic investment into Albina Riverside and the Low End have been announced. A redevelopment involving housing, new businesses, spaces for creative expression, and more. The reason why: to rebuild a historically black area of Portland that's faced its fair share of struggles through the decades.
So what we're trying to do is rebuild it as if it were never destroyed.
That's the vision of the 1803 Fund, the organization investing $70 million into rebuilding two areas of the Albina neighborhood.
We cannot talk about Albina without talking about the pain that we have faced as a community.
We inherited disinvestment. We inherited displacement. We inherited questions like, do I belong here? Is there a space for me?
Displacement due to major construction projects like I-5 and Legacy Emmanuel caused many black families to lose their homes and changed the community overall years ago.
Our communities have never been short of talent, but we've been short of investment capital at scale. And that is what the 1803 Fund brings.
The organization's CEO, Rakaya Adams, says a transformation is coming to Albina Riverside, where the former grain silos stand, and to the Low End along the western edge of Russell Street. These renderings showing the goal in the next few years. Combined, the 1803 Fund says it will amount to over 10 acres of land to be redeveloped, complete with affordable housing, learning opportunities, and hundreds of jobs expected to bring in $700 million in economic impact in the initial phases.
Now, we do have fiscal and financial relationships through Prosper. We're going to do everything we can to help fund and make her and 1803 Fund successful, because their success means Albina's success. Albina's success means our community and Portland's success.
The mission: to expand on what already exists in the community.
It's a combination of new construction, renovation, and preservation. But we don't want anyone who's here to leave. We want them to stay and build something stronger around them.
In North Portland, Celine Stevens, KGW News.
Also in North Portland this morning, more than 100 advanced practice providers at legacy hospitals hit the picket line. The strike includes nurse practitioners and physician associates, among others, at Legacy Emmanuel and Legacy Good Samaritan hospitals. The Oregon Nurses Union represents these workers and says they've been negotiating for a new contract for nearly 2 years.
They were like just laughing and saying, "Happy Thanksgiving." And I turned around and I was like, how is that going to be a happy Thanksgiving? How is that?
It sounds like that was the wrong soundbite there, but Legacy Health says it's offered a 10% pay increase and will continue to bargain in good faith.
Apologies for that. They're also in health headlines. The CDC's panel of vaccine advisors is planning to end recommending hepatitis B vaccines for newborns. The newly appointed chair of the group telling the Washington Post members are expected to vote on that recommendation later this week. Right now, the CDC recommends giving babies a dose of the hepatitis B vaccine within 24 hours of birth. Meanwhile, Reuters reporting an independent review out today found that the current policy adopted in 1991 has cut infections in children by more than 95%.